bringing us no shortage of new PS5 games. Here's a roundup of some of the best new and upcoming games releasing on PS5 throughout 2024. And as a disclaimer, these are the games we know about. There are plenty of unannounced things that may crop up during the year. You know, big first-party titles like, say, Insomniac's Wolverine don't have a release date yet. And other big things like Grand Theft Auto 6, we have no idea when that's really coming. So here's some of the more known stuff. Like we said, we got 20 games to talk about, so let's get started off with number 20. The recently released Tekken 8 is really making fans of the series happy. It is another solid entry in the Tekken series where they rarely miss, if we're being honest, with some new characters that bring some interesting things into the mix, a little bit more additions to the fighting mechanics, but otherwise a straightforward, fun Tekken game with a really cool little character creator, character modifier, and they continue the story, and they manage to continue to keep it interesting 8 games in. That's really impressive. Next, over at number 19, we have Stellar Blade. This one has been in the works for a while and has mostly been shown off as a graphical showcase. It very much looks like an Unreal Engine 5 game turned up to 11, and what it is kind of a sci-fi fantasy hack and slash adventure. It looks like it's almost got like a science fiction Devil May Cry thing to it, and I'm frankly all about that. Apparently you are this sci-fi paratrooper warrior named Eve who goes to Earth on an adventure, but this Earth is destroyed, basically. Mankind has moved on beyond Earth and lives in space colonies. So she's got to venture through this post-apocalyptic sci-fi Earth and fight awesome big monsters. That's really all we have to go on at the time of making this video. Sony and PlayStation have planned to reveal more soon, but as of right now, it just looks cool. That's all we got. But sometimes looking cool and fun is all you really need. Next, over at number 18, we have Skull and Bones. Yes, Ubisoft's long-in-the-works pirate game is finally almost here. What started off as, I guess, like a spin-off of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag's pirate-style gameplay, Skull and Bones is this big, massive multiplayer thing where you get to be your own pirate, build your own ship, man your own crew, and go on adventures. This thing has been delayed and delayed and delayed for years and years, and that could spell disaster, or it could spell an idea worth pushing through this long. We don't know for sure, but we're excited to finally check it out because, to be completely honest, the world always needs more pirate games. I know we have the, Assassin's Creed pirate games, we have Sea of Thieves, we have classic pirate games, but like Skull and Bones can really, hopefully, bring something different. We don't know for sure. We're going to judge it when we get our hands on it when that releases February 16th. Next, over at number 17, we have Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. This is another one that has been in development for a long time with some development change-ups and significant delays, but the developers are talking about the game more. They release developer diaries fairly consistently, and we're hoping we finally see it this year. This is the sequel to the famous PC RPG. There was really nothing like it at the time, and we're really hoping they knock it out of the park with this one because there's a lot you could do. Again, we don't know an exact release date, but we're thinking 2024, hopefully, because like I said with pirate games, it's the same thing with vampire games. We need more vampire games. It's a good genre, and we love to see it. Next, over at number 16, we have a game called Light No Fire. This is from Hello Games, the people who made No Man's Sky. So this game, they promised a lot up front. They said this is the first truly open world game, meaning it is a massive whole world or planet for you to explore, seemingly in full multiplayer. It looks like it has different regions, different weird alien cultures, and just a lot of massive feeling exploration. All we have is one simple and honestly pretty gorgeous trailer to go on, and I know people are instantly skeptical because of Hello Games and the promises they made with No Man's Sky when that launched, and it didn't meet expectations. So they're at it again. I think they've learned a lot, and I'm curious to see what comes of this one, because if it actually is what they're saying, and if it's fun, this could be really cool. Now, as of right now, it doesn't have a release date. Some analysts and some speculators are thinking it's been in development for a long time, so we might see it by holiday 2024. I would love that, to be honest. I really want to see what the deal is with this thing, but whenever it comes out is when it comes out. Next, over at number 15, we have Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. This is the follow-up to the absolutely awesome hack-and-slash adventure Space Marine. I think this new game has the potential to garner new Warhammer 40k fans, specifically because, as a normie myself, I think this looks very cool. I played the original Space Marine, absolutely loved it, and, I was able to at least pick up a little bit of Warhammer stuff. Will Space Marine 2 really make me go down the rabbit hole finally? I don't know for sure, but this just looks like a ton of fun. Beautiful visuals on screen, hordes of enemies to slay, badass main character, cool weapons, gore, it's just video game 101. We really hope they nail it like they did with the first one. We're going to be checking it out September 9th, 2024. Next, over at number 14, believe it or not, we have Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remastered. This might not be a big deal to some people, but for some of you older heads out there, myself included, it's really fun to see the original PS1 classic back in action with a little bit of a fresh coat of paint. They definitely aren't completely remaking the thing from the ground up. Like you can see, it is still very clearly the old original Tomb Raider games with all their faults, but they have a lot of charm. And we're really excited to replay them and really revisit those worlds because they were very unique at the time. Lara was very difficult to control, even back in the day, so I'm curious to see just where they fine-tuned things, where they updated things. They did confirm you're still going to be able to lock the butler in the fridge. That's a very specific reference to the old games, but if you played, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, let's move on. Oh, and it's releasing February 14th of this year. Next, over at number 13, this summer we're getting Black Myth Wukong. This is the kind of action hack-and-slash Souls-like game centered around Chinese mythology and a classical novel. So you got a lot of fantasy elements, a really cool main character, and just some incredible over-the-top combat and boss battles. I mean, this game has absolutely wowed us from the start when we got our first glimpse of it. It's from a Chinese developer that we haven't really seen any of the other games before, but this one looks absolutely massive and ambitious. And we're curious to see if they can nail it because, like we said, those trailers right from the beginning really got us hooked. And now seeing the game fully fleshed out, it does look really enticing. It's releasing August 19th, 2024. Next, over at number 12, we have Persona 3 Reload. Dropping in February, this is a re-release total update of the original beloved Persona 3 classic with a bunch of new elements and some change-ups, but also just a good reason to revisit the classic. Now, Persona 3 is going to be available on all the major platforms, which is great, and of course, specifically here, PS5. Characters that people absolutely fell in love with and some incredible music. That's what's coming to you, and we hope it holds up in 2024. Next, over at number 11, we have Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden. This is a third-person action-adventure game from Dontnod, the people behind so many things like Vampire, Life is Strange. They make a big variety of games, and this one is definitely more in the vein of Vampire or Vampire, if you will, where you play as like a kind of ghost-hunting couple, fighting ghouls and creatures, and kind of warping between realms because one of the people in the relationship is actually a ghost. There's some cool ideas here. I'm really curious to see how this goes down and what kind of story they tell because I usually like these types of games Dontnod puts out, and we'll know for sure when it releases February 13th, 2024. Next, over at number 10, we have Lost Soul Aside. This one has been in the works for quite some time and teased as a smaller project many, many years ago and has blown up into this full-scale project and looks very much inspired by like the cool, slick action and characters from like Final Fantasy VII, but also some of the combat and stuff from Devil May Cry. Also, like Stellar Blade we talked about earlier, a lot of the attention here is specifically centered around the graphics. The visuals here are clearly pretty stunning. We're really curious to see what comes of this one, and as of right now, it's slated for 2024. Next, over at number 9, we have Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. They're going big with this one. You're going to be able to drive around all of Hong Kong Island with whatever gorgeous high-end cars you want and have a lot of freedom. Frankly, Test Drive players have been begging for a new game for a while now. It's a series that's been dormant, and it's really cool to be talking about it and the fact that it's coming back. Visuals look absolutely incredible. I expect the handling and the driving to feel good, but we'll judge that when we play it. As of right now, it is slated for coming soon, and we're hoping this is the year we see it. Next, over at number 8, we have Metal Gear Solid 3, the remake, or Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta, whatever you want to call it. Konami is bringing back Metal Gear Solid with this visual remake. It looks like the gameplay is going to be pretty similar, but visually, this thing looks pretty damn incredible. I hope that it doesn't lose the flair, the vibe, the feeling of the original game, because I'm a diehard Metal Gear fan, and I just worry about them screwing this up. Metal Gear fans, we definitely have a complicated history with Konami and the franchise now for sure, but this thing might release this year. News reports and some stuff from Konami have suggested that we might see this and another game they're working on that we'll talk about in a bit this year. But who knows? Next, over at number 7, we have Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. This game is Prince of Persia going back to its roots. The original from back in the day was a 2D action platformer, and that's what they're doing here. Now it's a full-blown Metroidvania, and it's absolutely awesome. We were skeptical of not playing as the prince. This game definitely goes in its own new direction with fantasy and lore, and centered around Persian mythology, but even though you're not the titular Prince of Persia, this game is a ton of fun, and probably one of the better Metroidvanias in a minute. The combat is really, really fun and addictive. The discovery and exploration is good. The boss battles are cool. The style is really interesting. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown definitely has a little bit of everything. We didn't expect Ubisoft to put out something this good, to be honest, because sometimes we're a little skeptical of them. But as of right now, you can play it on PS5. Next, over at number 6, we have the Silent Hill 2 remake. This is another one coupled with the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, where a news report suggested we might see it in 2024. This is from Bloober Team, the people behind games like The Medium that have been tasked with remaking the classic. We don't really know how this one is going to turn out. We haven't, frankly, seen too much of it yet. Apparently, the combat's getting an overhaul, and obviously the visuals, but we're just really curious to see if a completely different studio really can handle the nuances, the subtleties, the things that really make the original Silent Hill 2 so incredible and iconic from the Japanese developers over at Konami. Also, we just need something good from the Silent Hill franchise. It's been a while. So let's see what happens. Fingers crossed. Next, over at number 5, we have Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth. This is the next Like a Dragon game, once again continuing Ichiban's saga. Kiryu is in it, but he is pretty much on his way out. He's gotten his story sort of wrapped up in other games and a spin-off game, so now they're going in a different direction. But essentially here you have the two guys in Hawaii going on adventures, and it is a ton of fun. The RPG turn-based combat is better than ever. The diversions and distractions and weird things in the open world are even more fun than they've been in the past. There's a lot to love about Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth. I mean, the Yakuza series started on like PlayStation 2, right? It's cool to see it still continuing to this day. It's been a long time. The franchise has changed for sure, but it's found a really fun identity. Next, over at number 4, we have Dragon's Dogma 2. This is the RPG sequel that people have been begging for years. Capcom really cracked the code with the original fantasy RPG. Just having that specific Capcom spin on, kind of a played out genre really worked for people. And Dragon's Dogma 2 looks like they're just doing more of the same, giving fans more of what they want. A really fun action RPG with a strong narrative and good player choice and a bigger world this time around, cool battles. It just seems like they're really onto something here. It's probably our most anticipated RPG of the year by far. It's releasing March 21st, 2024. Next, over at number 3, we have Star Wars Outlaws. Star Wars is going open world, and it's made by the people at Massive, the folks behind The Division and The Division 2. So while this isn't like a games as a service game, I'd say that the Massive definitely knows how to build compelling open worlds, and I'm glad to see that they're doing it with a Star Wars game. And it feels like for once you're not a Jedi, you're more of a Han Solo type character, so they can really do some cool different things here. From reports and what we've seen with Ubisoft, it seems like we're going to be playing it by the end of this year, and we're looking forward to seeing what the deal is, because Star Wars games have been on a roll recently. Now, down at number 2, we have Rise of the Ronin. This is the next game from Team Ninja, the people most recently behind Nioh and Nioh 2, and it seems like they're once again kind of doing a Souls-like style game, but more of an open-world adventure with an emphasis on story. You're in 19th century Japan, the region is changing, there is conflict, and you're this cool, badass guy with gadgets and like a grappling hook and a glider, and of course, a gun and a katana. The battles look really compelling and fun. There's some cool boss battles we've seen footage of, and we're really excited to get our hands on this one. Is it going to be as challenging as Neo and Neo 2? We don't know for sure, but we're hoping that they can also tell a really good story here. Basically, if you've been waiting for something to scratch that Ghost of Tsushima itch, Rise of the Ronin might do it, and it's releasing March 22nd, 2024. And finally, down at number 1, of course, it's Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This one has been in the works for a while. People have been waiting to see what happens next in the Final Fantasy VII Remake world. I mean, we kind of know what's going to happen next, but they've changed some things up. They've shaken some things up quite a bit. So there could be some surprises. In this next entry of Final Fantasy VII, this is where things really get interesting. The areas open up, the characters get in crazier scenarios, and even more happens in the story. So we're really, really excited to see it go down. There's more emphasis on party mechanics this time around, it seems, and we're just ready to go because Final Fantasy VII Remake was awesome, and we're excited to see how this one goes. It's releasing February 29th.